Hello, Jesse.
Hi, Sagar.
Jesse, this is an interview with you where I want to know more about your life, about your story, and I would love the viewers to know you in a better way.
Okay.
So, you are a woman international master.
I am.
And you are from South Africa. And you are a commentator at the Global Chess League. These are the only things I know about you. So I would love to know more. So let's go back in time. Where and when were you born?
I was born in a city called Port Elizabeth in South Africa. And I've been there, I was there my whole life up till about 7 months ago when I moved to a bigger city, Cape Town. One of our capitals in South Africa, yeah.
So you're born in Port Elizabeth in which year?
In 1997.
97?
Yeah.
And how did chess come into your life?
Wow. My mom taught me when I was 7 years old. I think it was more of a tactic to try and get me to sit still for a little bit. I didn't really take interest until I was 8. And I started playing chess at school. There were many incentives to get better at the game. So our chess teacher would offer us like little trinkets or candy to try and get answers right, and I was very competitive, so I always wanted to win.
So your chess teacher was from school, or was there an academy there?
There was no academy. There was a sort of a chess parent who was a mom who also coached a lot of juniors, so like younger kids. She had a really good way to convey a concept or like teach the game. So it was my favorite teacher overall, and I still remember her name. Mrs. Ashworth was my first ever teacher. Yeah.
She was Indian?
No.
Ashworth.
Ashworth.
Okay. I thought Ashworth. Okay, that's an Indian name. Okay. So you started getting better at chess. How was the chess culture there? Were there chess tournaments happening?
So I went to an all-girls school. In junior school and in high, so for 12 years I was in an all-girls school, so my only competition at school were girls. And when I started playing regional tournaments, that's when I sort of got into playing against, boys as well, my age, and open tournaments, people much older than me. And it was a little demotivating because going from an all-girls school where we're a club of maybe 20 girls to playing a tournament and there are only like 3 or 4 of us among 100 players, it's kind of tough. And you'd get that sort of negative energy, like, oh my God, she's a girl, you'll beat her, it's okay. And I use that more as ammunition to try and get better. Yeah, so I use that as motivation. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna prove you wrong, sort of vibes. And I know that sounds very like cliche and like, but it was really big for me to prove my worth, because in chess, the reason I play chess, or one of the reasons, is the respect that I can get from my opponent without even having to say anything. Just by the way I play, they will respect me and, respect the kind of player I am. Yeah.
When I interact with you, you come across as a very calm person. Do you think that on the chessboard you are very aggressive?
Ooh. I do consider myself a tactical player, which I think is both a strength and a weakness. Sometimes I get really impatient over the board, and I can be sort of, I don't know what the word is, I can't find it, but like to just attack immediately, sacrifice my pieces when I should be waiting, play positionally, improve my position, and then go for an attack. And I'm always looking for a way to win the game quickly, I guess. Yeah. I consider myself, so an attacking player, but in terms of personality, maybe calm. But yeah, okay. Anyway.
Right. So you kept getting better.
Yeah.
Are you right now or at any point the top player of your country, or there are other strong players as well?
At the moment, nationally rated, I'm the highest rated female.
And what's your rating, live rating?
My live rating FIDE is 1800 or 1860 or something like that. My national rating is about 1890 probably, or 1900. And I'm a two-time South African women's champion. I won in 2015. No, I'm lying. That's a big lie. I won in 2017 and 2019. Right. And then the next edition, unfortunately, I placed second. It was a much smaller tournament, and like last minute, they cut the number of players in half, and it was like sort of a round robin where there would be 5 or 6 games, and it was not the best conditions, but I'm still happy with my performance at that event. And 2 years ago, I played the African Championship, and I actually came first. I won the Continental, and I got my Women Grandmaster title elect.
Oh.
And so I just need to get 2100 rating in FIDE, and I'm working on that right now. So that's my next goal.
How did you become a WIM?
I played in the Zonal Chess Championship in Mauritius, actually.
Okay.
It was beautiful. Best tournament I've ever played.
I went for my honeymoon there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. The food is great. Everything is perfect. You sort of don't want to play chess. You just want to be on holiday. You want to sit on the beach. And the venue we played in, I mean, there were several of them, but they were always in the resort, right next to like a beach. You can look out the window and see wind sailors and people tanning or like doing their own thing. So I have lots of stories to tell about that tournament, but that's the zonal that I won, and in 2016 I got my Women International Master title.
So that's how you got your title?
Yes.
By winning that tournament?
That's when they still did direct titles. So I got it immediately.
But isn't that same event which you won again now, the African zone, or that's a different one?
So we have the zonal, like 4.1 to about 4.5, and that's different regions of Africa.
Okay.
And then we have the continental, that is all the countries in Africa.
So when you won the continental, it was like you won amongst all the zones?
All the zones, every country, Egypt, Algeria, like all the really strong ones. And then of course there were a few players from South Africa as well, yeah.
So now you have to gain another 250 ELO points or so. Do you think it's going to be a tough task? Are you aiming for it, or you are like it'll happen when it has to?
If there's a sponsor out there, hello. No, so it's really tough to do so, I think, locally. We don't have as many tournaments in South Africa, or like strong ones that I'd really like to play. So often I'll have to plan a trip to Europe and maybe try to find a couple tournaments before coming back home. It's a far distance to travel just for one event, so you want to sort of pick a couple. And in Port Elizabeth, my hometown, there were much fewer tournaments. We'd have one tournament every 4 to 6 months. In Cape Town, maybe one every 2 months. So already it's looking up. It's one of the reasons I moved. I said, okay, if I really want to get that rating, I'm gonna have to put in some effort. I'm doing a little bit of training on the side. Yeah, so I'm working on my chess. And I feel like there's a little bit of improvement. My peak rating is 1940, so I know I can get there and possibly beyond.
What, according to you, stops players from Africa, including yourself, from becoming like very strong? We see that, a very strong player of your country could reach a rating of 2200, 2300. So what is it that stops?
Well, I'm going to try and avoid politics as much as possible here, but it's really tough coming from a country, and I know this is a tough topic because a lot of players from different countries suffer the same problem. It's the financial support. So you're having to sort of work your way to a point where you're saving up, pay for your own flight, accommodation, to participate in tournaments where you may or may not do well. And there's no support from like the federation and that sort of thing, and maybe just a lack of tournaments. If there were more tournaments locally organized, not even for like the prize money, just the fact that we all want to get better, we all want to improve. I think that would be a great way to do so. That is like at low cost. But I think that if players such as myself want to get better, unfortunately, we right now have to travel to do so. And unless you have the funds, unfortunately, you won't get there as fast as you want to.
Have you ever thought of yourself being a part of the organization, or like organizing events, or maybe the federation in your country?
A couple years ago, pre-COVID, I started my own chess academy. It was called the Bright Minds Chess Academy. There's still a trace on the internet of Bright Minds, but I started it so that I could have an organization to help junior players to achieve this sort of goal, to help them get to the national championship, to help them improve their game. And we didn't have a lot of top players from our region, our province, and I wanted to change that. So every weekend I got some kids together. I turned my garage into like a whole chess studio. Wow. I had like the projector, I cut out pieces, put on the wall and stuff like that, and I made booklets and stuff like that for them. And they would always get something else, so like a snack. If it's a 2-hour session, we'd get like an extra pencil or like a little, I don't know, we did some themes, summer themes, Christmas themes and stuff, just to motivate them. And okay, unfortunately when COVID hit, all of that went online. And I started working for different companies like My Chess Tutor, Co-Chess was a thing at a time, and my academy just sort of disappeared. Yeah. And by then I had started streaming, and I thought, okay, this is a new way that perhaps we can commercialize the game, and whatever money we do make, we can also put that into our own sort of tournaments. And like you said, or like you asked, do I ever want to become an organizer for an event? Sure, possibly an event I can compete in, but yes, we put together something quite big, I think 2 years ago, called it was like a ZA Champs, where we included esports players, a lot of people who were gaming in the esports scene in South Africa, and had a chess tournament.
This was online?
Online. We wanted to do something like this for chess players alone. So we started inviting chess players to do a little profile on them, if they're coaches, help promote them and that sort of thing. I hope it's still recording.
Yes, it's going on.
Okay. So yeah, I do want to do more, and I feel like, yeah, your question is actually getting me to think, or thinking to do more, so yeah.
So would you say that right now your entire financials or the way you make your livelihood is through chess?
Yes. So I'm streaming, I'm doing a little bit of coaching now, not as much as I used to. And I also do some brand deals. So with Asus, the tech company, I have like a laptop deal with them, and I do some content surrounding that. I also do a lot of commentary. Well, I'm here. This is the dream come true. I don't think, I think my career has peaked finally. So the commentary and collaborations and that sort of thing. I feel like there's a lot more that could be done in chess, and I just haven't opened my mind to those things yet. Like, I'm also competing, and I can't say that I'm a professional player, but you know, you get a little bit of prize money here and there. So yeah, I wish I could be a professional chess player. But instead we have to settle for chess professional, which I'm happy with as well. Yeah.
So have you also studied, like did you go to university? What did you study?
I studied accounting at university. I did, yeah. I did about 2 years of accounting, and then had to make a very tough decision because there was about 6 months where I could travel and play and or continue the next semester, and I was always like, I can go back, I can do my final year when I want to. There was an online institution as well, it's called UNISA, University of South Africa, which made it quite easy to do that. And somehow so many things happened after that, I never went back. So 2 years under my belt, and I hadn't completed my degree, and I'm not upset by my decision.
Are you planning to finish it?
You know, I still have a couple years to do so, so maybe. Never know.
So on one hand you have a year of accounting left,
yeah,
and on the other hand you have your WGM title left. So there are a few things which are lying incomplete for you.
Exactly, they're in the balance. But if I were to be honest with you, I don't see myself doing anything accounting related in my life. It would be nice to have it under my belt to say, okay, I have an accounting degree and so on, but I think chess, content and playing is like where my passion lies the most. Yeah.
Do you think that what chess has given you has opened up a lot of possibilities in your life? As you said, you are here, at the Global Chess League, but I also saw you at the World Championship, and you also traveled to India at some point to play in the World Youth Championships. So is it something that has opened new doors for you, the sport?
I definitely think so. If we were to go backwards, the World Championship match, that opportunity was so unexpected. I actually reached out to FIDE and said if they needed any extra hands, let me know. This is what I can do. I put up a whole content proposal for them. I said this is what can be done, and they were so impressed by it. They were like, "Sure, pack your bags, let's go."
Wow!
So I was there for the entire month, and I got that opportunity because I asked, and I knew that if I hadn't asked, I probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere. And I got the idea from a tweet posted by a FIDE member who wanted to do a collaboration with a streamer. And I was like, if that could be done, if there was a window, I'm going to open that window and see where I can get. So that was a great opportunity. I feel like perhaps that opportunity opened this door for me to be a part of the Global Chess League. I didn't know there was a chance to be involved, and this is a huge dream come true. I get to work alongside people like you, so this already is very big for me. And I feel like when I'm at a tournament, it's very important for me to meet new people or try to network. As socially anxious as I am, I try to put myself out there as much as possible. And yes, I've actually visited India 4 times already.
Wow.
The first time at the Commonwealth Chess Championship in 2015. And then again...
This was Delhi?
It was Delhi. And then again in 2016, 2017. It was December, January. I was there for an entire month. That's when I fell in love with curry, actually. It started in Mumbai, and then it went Delhi and Chennai. So it was a circuit I did with some South African players. And yeah, I met a bunch of cool people. I think I saw you for the first time, ChessBase India, doing interviews and stuff. I think I was involved in one of them, maybe. Oh. Yeah, I was super nervous. I think I blanked out during that interview. But I've definitely seen that personal growth. I feel like I've grown a lot since then, becoming more comfortable in front of the camera. Streaming helps a lot in that regard. And I didn't participate in the World Youth in 2019, actually. I was a coach and babysitter for one of the players. And then again last year at the Olympiad. Yeah.
Right. You played for your team, South Africa?
I was brought one for my team, South Africa.
How did you do?
I wish I could say that I did, that I impressed myself, but I did not. Halfway through the event, I got really sick. I got an upper respiratory infection, and I was in bed for most of the rest of the event. And I was really sad, down and out. And I think the team dynamic definitely could have been better, and there's a bunch of things that we could improve on. And I think that it allows us to reflect and perhaps do better for Budapest, because I really want to do well next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we saw you at the World Championship, and you used to come with the Twitter questions. It was one of the most exciting segments. How was your experience there? You looked so calm, always asking questions. Was it always the case from within as well?
They say take a shot before you go on. No, I'm joking. In the beginning of the event, we had a lot of content meetings. And in one of the meetings, they wanted me to bring the Twitter segment onto the broadcast. So I would have joined Vishy and Irina, and just for about 10 minutes discuss the sort of fan engagement that there was. Then the plan changed, and suddenly I was meant to go on the press conference after all the journalists have spoken, and I had to vet the questions really carefully. So what happened was I would write down most of the good questions from Twitter. There were a lot of very strange questions, like, would you share your birthday cake with Jan de Pomnishi? Ding. And it's no one's birthday, why would you say that? and a bunch of other questions that you sort of just look at and you're like, no. So there was that, and then whatever questions the journalists have already asked, I had to remove. And then comes the fun questions, and I stand up and I'm like, the confidence and like the fact that I was calm probably came from the fact that I could easily hide behind that it wasn't my questions. I added some of my own questions, but I could always blame it on Twitter. So if I had some of my own, I wouldn't read out a name. I would just say, this is, me. Not even me, just
Very
Twitter.
smart.
Yeah. And I know there were quite a few highlighted moments that people were laughing at because of the answers, like the pink shirt comment, I think, went a little bit viral, and a few other things. And I was never expecting a straight answer from anyone. The best I could hope for was maybe a sentence. If I got more, great. If I got less, oops. So, as long as it was a positive viewing experience and not at all cringe, I think I did a good job.
Yeah, you were fantastic. I was always looking forward to that segment as a viewer, so it was very cool. You say that you are now a streamer.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges that any new streamer faces is how to get people to follow them, because this is also becoming sort of saturated, right? There are so many good streamers all across the world, and people are following different streamers. Let's say Hikaru is there, you have many others who are streaming. Have you found that difficult, or do you think streaming comes naturally to you?
That's a great question. There was actually a story I heard at this event that will definitely help with me talking about this. It was easier, well, I can't say easy, but easier for me to start when I did, because I was starting with someone. It was my teammate from South Africa, her name's Rebecca Selkirk. We started a channel called #Chess, and it was nice because when we were too nervous, we streamed together. And when it came to a point where we were comfortable enough, we would alternate. So I would stream one day, she would stream another day, and it helped with the viewership, because I feel like the only way to grow your channel is when you're live. Unlike YouTube, where once you post a video, it's not necessary to be live or anything like that. The discoverability, I think, is solely focused on live channels on Twitch. If you want to grow on Twitch. It helped as well because we became affiliates with chess.com, which meant that we could get something called TV time, so embed time, where our viewership would naturally, or not naturally, just like, from the site, we'd get some viewers, and it would help with our channel growth. And 2 years after that, we decided, or not even 2 years, I think a year and a bit, we decided to sort of part ways in terms of our professional. We're still really good friends, so we're best friends. And she continued on #Chess, she bought me out, and I started on my own channel. And I realized that starting alone, how difficult it was, and how difficult the growth. So I started with Lee Chess, and then I moved to chess.com, and I realized that I was really leaning on the embed a lot. But the cool story I wanted to talk about was something that I heard at this event. Someone was telling me a story about how they were streaming on YouTube. And they had a really good following, like in chess. And then they decided to raid someone, a much smaller streamer. And usually when you raid someone, you take the viewers on your channel and you introduce them to either, a smaller channel or a different channel. And it's then up to them whether to subscribe or follow or, And so they raided this person. And just by the fact that they were themselves genuine, they stopped everything that they were doing just to focus on the fact that there were new people on the channel. They were introducing themselves, talking about what they're passionate about, and just being themselves. I'm pretty sure gave everyone goosebumps. And people started subscribing because of how genuine he was. And now he has surpassed the person who rated them.
Oh, nice.
It now has 1 million subscribers or something, just because he got that small window into just telling people who he is, and in the most genuine way possible. So I think being yourself and following your niche, whatever you're passionate about, do that. And I know it's a saturated sort of industry now, but if you keep doing what you love, then it's about the enjoyment first. If you focus on the followers, you're probably not going to enjoy the journey. Yeah.
Do you feel the financial pressure at any point?
I think that with Twitch, it always gives a little bit of anxiety if I'm depending on Twitch income solely. That's why it was always important for me to find other avenues for income, whether it's coaching, endorsements, brand work, like sponsorship, or commentary. So I think that's equally important. And when you have multiple income streams, if one doesn't seem to be doing well in 1 month, then you don't have to be as worried, I guess. But I think the best way right now for a content creator to grow is seeking avenues for passive income. So whether it's YouTube videos that are growing on their own. And someone said something this event as well. They said, the best money that you can make is while you're asleep. Or something along those lines. And I was like, are you doing sleeping streams? Like, what are you doing? But what they meant was, you know, the videos that they're posting, chessable courses that they're, you know, doing and stuff like that. I think even articles that you're writing if you're blogging, which I used to do, and I don't do anymore, but I would love to get back to writing, yeah.
You have so many talents, right? And you're using all of them to actually make a living out of chess, which is very interesting. If you had the free hand going forward, how would you like to build your life around chess?
I want to be the next Beyonce, even though every time I sing, people tell me to stick to my daytime job, you know? No, I want to start focusing on creating video content. And one of the biggest ideas that I had, well, there were two actually. One of them was creating 60-second videos. So solely to like introduce different chess concepts at the most basic level. And I was going to start doing this with Chessable actually, or on my own. And what I like with content creation for other companies is whatever they don't use, I end up posting on my own social media, which helps. So nothing ever goes to waste. So that already is there. And there was the other idea of doing pretty much this, like an interview series, but on like the fun side or like the funny side of different chess players and personalities, even streamers from South Africa. I wanted to tune into that because a lot of people only see what others put on the screen, or when they're sitting at a chessboard, you don't really see the other side, like their family or what they do for fun or that sort of thing. So I thought that was a great idea. But a lot of these ideas are just ideas and nothing happens. So yeah, hopefully something will pan out at some stage.
What is the funniest story you have had related to your surname?
My surname, oh my god.
Jesse February, you know, I'm sure you have had people calling you different names there.
Yeah, funny, yeah, that's
or not
great.
Funny, but just anything that you remember, or has there been none? I mean, of course, Samay here was making always some jokes on it.
It reminds, because we're at a chess event, and actually it reminds me of at the Olympiad in 2016. I actually went up to Magnus to say hello. And I was like, you know, I'm a huge fan, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And the first question he asked me was, what month are you born in?
Really?
I was like, I was born in January. Why? And he's like, are you sure it's not February?
Oh, he knew you.
I seem so, well, I guess so, because I was like, hi, I'm Jesse, nice to meet you. I'm such a huge fan, and that was the response I got. So of course I'm like stunned. I don't know what to do with myself. I was like fangirling, obviously. So yeah, that was a memorable thing and a story I could tell. So
wow,
yeah.
This is such a great story.
I know there have been a lot funnier ways to go about it, but yeah, that was definitely the most memorable.
Brilliant. Well, Jesse, it has been wonderful knowing more about you, the number of things you do, and I think everyone's going to follow you to know where you are headed in your life, which aspect of chess will you sort of champion? Will it be streaming? Will it be coaching? Will it be commentary? So I think that would be very interesting to follow.
Thank you so much, Sagar.
And we'll look forward to it.